Hey, I need to get started on to talk to you about where we left off last time. I want to talk to you about some things that we are doing for our class project with it. And if you go to your eCampus for me and find the link that says course content that I have for you, and inside of that there should be a subdirectory called class projects. And if you can click on portfolio layout 1, I'm using Firefox, so I'm going to download it to my download directory right here. It's a zip file. I'm going to open it. This is that zip file that I have. I'm going to right mouse click on it, extract all. I'm going to extract it all to this download directory. And it looks like this. After I extract it, I'm going to copy that directory. I'm going to find my file structure that I already have. I created a file structure on my desktop. I have a little subdirectory that I'm going to work from, call it sandbox. I'm inside of the subdirectory of all your file structure. I hope your file structure looks like this at this time. The only file sitting outside is your index, and you have all subdirectories. Everything's inside of it. There's a subdirectory called class project. Go inside of that, paste that inside of that, put that as a subdirectory. So if I had to expand this is, if you read up here, this is my subdirectory of class project, and inside that I have a directory called IMG. Okay, and I gave you some of my masterpiece drawing here. So there's about 5 pieces of drawing that we're going to use as a piece of graphics as a placeholder. All right, for this project with it. Later on, you're going to replace this with your graphics with it as well. All right, so this will give you start out with the landscaping. That's what we're doing right now. Now, let me minimize this. That's how we want to start out with this. Let's go back and come back to your how we're going to code this. Before I leave that, this is the portfolio layout that we're going to try to achieve. This is what piece of one-page portfolio with it. As you can see, I have graphics coming across and some description for each of the graphics that comes underneath it, and then I have one big piece of graphics with it, so with a heading and a paragraph tag. So this is what you're trying to achieve, is this one page portfolio piece at this time. All right, we're going to add in a couple more links in here as we move along here, but this is the layout. The first step is to get everything loaded. Let's get all the images loaded in the HTML page, and the second step is we're going to write an external CSS page that applies to this. All right, so here we go. This is what you're supposed to have as a finished product for the same. Now, once you have that defined, let's go back to your Visual Studio. I need to open that directory. So I'm going to go to File, my folder, navigate to where I just extracted that. So I create a sandbox where I can do all the demonstration to it. This is the class. This is the level that I'm going to point to. It's right here. And I'm going to refresh this. Okay, so inside my class projects, as the way how this is displayed is, you see that this is the parent directory of the portfolio v1 student, and underneath it I have a subdirectory called IMG, and IMG contains all of this content of the 5 graphics inside of it. The first thing I'd like for you to do is click on the portfolio v1, click on this folder. This is the folder I'd like for you to click on at this stage right now. Make sure you click on it, and then you're going to come up here and click on New File. And I want you to create a file called template v1, template version 1 .html. Okay, so that makes it an HTML file. Okay, all right, that's what it looks like. It should look like this file structure with a subdirectory underneath it. If I uncollapse this is what it should be looking like it. So if I went out here to my directory at my file structure, this is what I just created. It's just this template v1.html is this one right here, and the 5 images remains inside of the IMG directory. Okay, so make sure your file structure. We're going to get this template perfectly, and then we're going to create other files from this. It's similar to the concept of that e-commerce website, that fictional e-commerce website that we just created on this as well. All right. So here we go. So let me minimize this. And before we leave too far with this, I want you to create another subdirectory for me. Make sure you click on the Portfolio V1 Student. This time you're going to create a new folder. It's this icon next to it. Okay, it says new folder. You see how I hover over that and it just pops up new folder? This folder, I'd like for you to just type in CSS. We're going to put all the external CSS files inside of that. Alright. Alright, click back on your HTML for me, your template version 1 HTML. If you can go ahead and start up your doc type, and we can move forward on that one. Alright, so you can see my IntelliSense picked up that. And I'm just going to do HTML tag, and I'm going to close that off in between. We have to have two, the head and the body. Inside the head, I'm going to go, let me have do the title. And I'm going to say my portfolio. Again, this is just all text placeholder. You can call it whatever you want to call it. All right. Come to the right of this. We're going to actually put our body tag underneath this. So okay, so this is where we're going to start right now. So this is the basic skeleton I need for you to have before I move forward on this right now with it. So please take a good look at this code, and we're going to move forward from this point on with it. Remember now, we're going to actually have the link, you know, the relative link to the CSS in a second. Let's get all of our images load up at this time right now with it. All right. So here's what we need to do. Let's document some stuff as we go along with the stuff. With the documentation, it's very important. And I would like for you to put in, this is where the main center web of the web page. Right. And we're going to start out a couple of things in here with it. First thing is we're going to take a look at, make sure the key thing, the difficult thing about this is that you have to align this thing the way how I have it. I'm going to go very slow so you can see the code, and make sure you align your code to exactly what I have right now with it. So the first tag we're going to talk about is the div tag, right? And this div tag, which bear with me, you haven't know what a class is yet. I'm going to talk about a class when the time comes with this thing. But let me try to show you something. As I type to this, my IntelliSense drops down, and if I hit, you notice that it's highlighted with class. All I need is hit tab. It completes that for me, allows me to fill in the blank with, in this case, you don't have this yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the first div tag that you're going to use is main. Okay. Now you don't have this yet. All right, bear with me. So, and then this closes it off. Move that down. So hang on. So what this does is you're taking this whole div, this class, this entire class. Bear with me when we get to the style sheet. I will talk more to you about what is a class, a tag definition, and an ID. Okay, so it goes the tag definition, the class, and an ID. Keep that three terms in the back burner as we write our style CSS in a few more minutes with it. But for now, I would like for you to make sure you have your div tag. This is the opening, and this is the closing. Between it, let's do an H1 tag. So we'll do an H1, close that off with it. I want to say something along the line, welcome to my portfolio. Some sort of message like this, okay? And then we can come over to the right, and then we can do like a horizontal HR, okay? Hit IntelliSense, close that off with it. Now, come down to the next line, and we're going to say So just in case, again, the white